Hello, and welcome to the Club Sports New Participant Training. Here, you will learn about joining club sports, concussion awareness, and other important aspects of club sports operations. Let's get started with some basics. Club sports is just a small portion of the university, falling under competitive sports, recreation, and university life.
Club sports is primarily managed by the competitive sports staff, which consists of an assistant director, coordinators, and student program assistants. Competitive sports further falls under an associate director and executive director at Mason Recreation. Clubs are also governed by the Executive Council for Club Sports and the President's Council, which are composed of club officers.
Board members, which are elected by the President's Council. They are responsible for distributing university funds to the clubs, development and enforcement of club sport policies and procedures, and creating an enjoyable experience for all club sports participants. Members of the ECCS are elected during the spring semester each year through a formalized election voting process. Each club receives 7 votes. If you are interested in becoming involved in the ECCS, you must have experience as an officer within a club sport organization and be a current member of a club, as well as have a minimum 2.0 cumulative GPA and complete the election process. What does our club constitution entail? The Constitution helps outline the structure, policies, and operating procedures for each club. It is highly recommended that all club members become familiar with the operating procedures, policies, and procedures for their club. There are a number of leadership positions available within each club, including President, Vice President, Safety Officer, Treasurer, and Secretary. Where does funding for the club come from? In addition to club dues, the club sports program receives funding through student activity fees. This amount may vary from year to year as clubs are required to submit and present budget proposals to the ECCS each spring for the coming year. If you have any questions or concerns, please contact the Club Sports Office. The Club Sports Office is located in the RAC at the Fairfax campus and is open Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. Now we will cover what you need to do before you participate in club sports activities.
Completing all portions of the new member checklist will ensure that you are eligible to practice and compete with the clubs of your choice.
The first thing you'll have to do is to activate your Mason Recreation membership. If you are a full-time student, your membership is automatically active. Part-time students may pay a recreation fee of $50 payable to a customer service desk at any of the recreation facilities on the Fairfax campus. After creating an account on IM Leagues, you will need to complete several forms. The first of these is the Club Sports Participant Waiver. This document outlines the risks associated with participating in the club sport program, the acknowledgement of said risks to the participant, insurance requirements, and photo/video acknowledgement and agreement.
IM Leagues will then send you an email. Click on the link in the email to confirm you are who you say you are, and you'll then have access to the site. Your homepage will look like this. If you want to join a club, go to Clubs at the top of the page and select what club you want to join, and then click Join Team. You'll then have to complete your waiver and all the information that's required. After you've fully been accepted onto your team, go back to your home, then select the forms.
The Consent for Sharing of Information form provides the Competitive Sports Office, athletic training staff, student health services, club coaches, and safety officers the ability to share information regarding participants' medical history. Communication of information is important in situations like injuries during travel, pre-existing conditions, or coordination of outside care. It also allows the Competitive Sports Office to share educational information with leagues and governing bodies for eligibility verification.
A sports health physical must be completed by a licensed medical physician and be on file with Mason Recreation using the form provided by Mason Rec. These are valid for 365 days and must be completed prior to participation in any club competitions. Physicals can be submitted to the Club Sports Office during office hours or the drop box located in the RAC lobby. All participants are required to submit updated emergency contact information each year on IM leagues. This information should be updated regularly and is the responsibility of the participant. All club sports participants, coaches, and administrators are required to complete the online concussion and injury fact and acknowledgement form. This form outlines the following: what is a concussion, how to prevent a concussion, what are the symptoms of a concussion, and what you should do if you think you have a concussion. Athletes are then required to read and initial the athlete concussion acknowledgement statement.
Impact baseline testing is required of all members of high-risk clubs prior to taking part in any activities that present a risk for concussion. Baseline tests are only required once during your enrollment at Mason and are administered by the athletic trainer.
All participants, employees, coaches, and instructors of club sports are held accountable to the policies and procedures set forth by George Mason University and Mason Recreation. The Behavior and Accountability Form outlines alcohol and drugs, harassment and hazing, social media, sportsmanship, and crimes. Remember, when you participate in club sports, you are representing the university and should conduct yourself in an appropriate manner, including on social media. Regarding travel and hotels for away competitions, non-club personnel may not travel to club-sanctioned events with club members, nor are they allowed to stay in a hotel room provided by club sports. Also, males and females may not share rooms when staying overnight. Now that we've completed the forms, let's learn about concussions. What is a concussion? A concussion is a type of traumatic brain injury caused by a bump, blow, or jolt to the head or hit to the body that causes the head and brain to move rapidly back and forth. If you notice that someone can't recall events, appears dazed or stunned, moves clumsily, loses consciousness, or shows other abnormalities, consider the possibility that that person has a concussion and notify a proper authority. If you experience a headache or pressure in your head, nausea or vomiting, balance problems or dizziness, irritation to light or noise, or confusion after being hit or falling, you may be showing signs of a concussion and should notify a proper authority. Although signs and symptoms show up soon after the injury, you may not know the severity of the injury as some symptoms may not show up for hours or days. You should continue to check for signs of concussions right after the injury and a few days after the injury. If concussion signs or symptoms get worse, you should take him or her to the emergency department right away. If you or any individual are suspected of having a concussion or head injury, follow these steps. Immediately remove yourself or them from play. Seek medical attention, and complete the gradual return to play process. An athlete with a possible concussion should be withheld from play the same day of injury and until cleared by a health care provider.
The following video presentation, produced by the NCAA, highlights the importance of taking time to properly recover in following the return to play process.
In addition to Student Health Services, which is located on campus, Inova Emergency Room Fairfax City, Patient First Urgent Care Fairfax, and Inova Fair Oaks Hospital Emergency Center are all facilities located near the Fairfax campus should you need medical care.
Now let's discuss the athletic training services that are available to you.
Mason Recreation offers athletic training services to our competitive sports athletes through a contract with Inova Sports Medicine. The athletic trainer can be reached at masonrec.at@gmail.com.
You may visit an athletic trainer at the RAC if there is one scheduled during office hours.
If you go to our website, clubsports.gmu.edu, the athletic training schedule, under the athletic training tab, we'll bring up this large schedule that has all the locations where the athletic trainers will be throughout the week. Easiest way to view it is if you go to week by week view. There is no charge for training services. However, if you need additional care, this will be at your own expense. Mason Rec and George Mason University cannot be held liable for any medical bill. All club sports participants are required to maintain current medical insurance at all times while participating in club sports, and have their insurance card with them while participating. Students may purchase health insurance by contacting Student Health Services.
Athletic trainers are provided by Mason Recreation for all home competitions hosted by the club. Clubs are not permitted to host a home competition without an athletic trainer scheduled. What is a safety officer? Each club is required to have 2 safety officers who have completed training in CPR, AED, first aid, blood-borne pathogens, and the emergency action plan for the department. They are the primary contact for injuries that occur off campus, and clubs are required to have at least one safety officer at every practice or competition. MRSA, commonly known as staph, can infect the body through cuts or breaks in the skin. Symptoms include infections on the skin, such as sores, boils, or pimples. You should see a doctor if wounds become infected or symptoms worsen. It is important that players do not share sweaty equipment and take care to clean personal equipment regularly after use. This next section will cover student account holds. So, you attempted to use the gym today, and the customer service staff said your Mason Recreation membership is frozen. How is this possible? Mason Recreation has the ability to issue temporary or indefinite holds to a member's account for several different reasons, including medical, financial, and disciplinary.
Anyone suspected of a possible head injury or concussion will automatically have a hold placed on their IMLeagues account and their Mason Recreation membership. Mason Recreation account hold. These holds may be placed on your account for outstanding fees owed to the club or Mason Recreation. Student account hold. Holds may be placed on your student account for outstanding club dues or other fees which are outstanding with your club or Mason Recreation. Individuals involved in an incident which requires a disciplinary hold will have their Mason Recreation membership frozen until the ECCS and the club sports professional staff have determined a final outcome. Again, you are representing the university as a member of club sports, so please be respectful to all participants and demonstrate good sportsmanship at all times.
Club dues are a useful method for clubs to bring in additional funding to operate. Club members must pay their dues at the front desk of the RAC by stating their club and the amount due. Payment may be made using cash, a check payable to George Mason University with the club name on the memo line, or a Visa or MasterCard. Many clubs provide uniforms to its members. If equipment, uniforms, or apparel are purchased with club funds, club members may not keep them. However, if a club raises self-generated revenue in addition to their dues, those funds may be used to purchase team apparel and kept by members of the club. Club members may be charged for lost, stolen, or damaged items belonging to the club. Facility usage is a major component of recreation in any university. Club sports participants are required to check in when using any Mason Recreation or intercollegiate athletics facility. Failure to abide by department and facility policies and procedures may result in disciplinary action against the club or participants. It is the responsibility of the club and its members to ensure that any facility utilized for club activities has been cleaned and all equipment has been returned prior to departure. Here is a list of the available facilities and how to contact them should you have any questions.
You can also view our facility schedules online by going to our website, clubsports.gmu.edu, clicking on Facility Schedules. Select the facility you're using, so for example, Field 3. You can then view the schedule either by month, but more detailed, you can look per week and see when your club's scheduled to practice.
While coaches are not required, they can be a valuable resource for clubs. These coaches can either be paid or volunteer. Either way, all new coaches are required to submit an application, resume, and attach any certifications prior to being hired by the club. Coaches are there to coach, not to lead. Executive members of the club should still be responsible for all operations of the club. Finally, let's talk about alumni. Staying involved with your club following graduation is a great way to network and continue to support the organization which you were a part of. Many clubs host alumni games, fundraisers, and charity events to help connect current club members with alumni. That concludes the new participant training video. You will now need to complete the training quiz with a score of 100% before you can begin participating in club activities.
Thanks for watching this video. Welcome to the Club Sports program, and remember, if you ever need to find any other information, clubsports.gmu.edu has all the info you need. You can also email us at gmuclubsports@gmail.com.